What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video.
I rep the West to the death, but my life is better. I've shed blood, shed tears, man, I stormed bad weather. I caught an L at 19, that's a cold-ass letter. But now I'm back in the world and trying to make it better forever. They counted me out at a young age, but now I'm living proof. I'm in this booth, I'm spitting truth, you see me on the tube. The Dub Show, homies bounce and roll. The Dub Show.
The other day, this guy OG Gumby, what was it, a week ago? Week and a half ago, I don't know. Very, very recently, he shows up on No Jumper. Gets a buzz. From that buzz, he starts to talk about Milk, 7-4. Milk is from 7-4 Hoover. And OG Gumby had some, his opinion on Milk. And since that time, Milk has done what Milk does. He reacted to some of the stuff that Gumby's putting out there. I just watched a video that Milk put out regarding this guy Gumby, 200 Hoovers, and Little Boosie. As soon as I saw the title, that's what made me click on it, right? And I immediately thought about exactly what Milk says in the video. Now, before I get into it, this dude Gumby, I believe is like a year younger than me, man. So he's not a youngster. My understanding is he's official in the streets. He's a Hoover, right? He really is. He's a Hoover. And he's got money. Why would you chase the clout? Why would you get in front of a camera? All of us know, anybody who knows anything knows, the money is made behind the camera. All these rappers, your favorite rappers, man, their producers got more money than them. Very few rappers that have more money than the producers. All the movies, all these actors, he gets 20 million a movie, yeah? Well, they just ask yourself what the executive producer got. The money ain't in front of the camera, it's behind it. So, Gumby talked about Little Boosie's brother, talked about Little Boosie, and he said some things that I guarantee you, law enforcement, they're on the prowl now. This dude Gumby, matter of fact, I think he's 50 years old. I'm 51, but I thought he was 49 for a second. So he's 50 years old, and let me tell you right now, you do not want to catch a life sentence in your 50s. You don't want to catch a RICO indictment in your 50s. You already got money. You're already established in your hood. Use your money to make more money. A lot of people, from what I've noticed, especially in the last 4 years, a lot of people, they can't handle this stuff. The clout becomes a drug for them. And I'm not saying that about Gumby. I don't know. I don't understand how somebody who's worth millions jumps out in the street, this YouTube street. I don't believe there's no such thing as a YouTube yarda, in my opinion. I think that's ridiculous, right? But this dude Gumby comes out of the shadows and puts himself in the light. And you know when I talk about these other channels that talk about people and people say, well, you do the same thing, Dubs. I talk about people who put themselves on social media. I don't drag anybody out of the dark and put them in the light and then try to put them away for life. I just don't do that. But this dude Gumby brought himself out of the shadows and put himself in front of the spotlight and put himself in front of the camera. He made himself available for other content creators to then take a look at what he has to say. The story he told about Little Boosie, I think, is a dangerous story. For anyone, for all these dudes that like to call themselves generals, and you're entertainers, believe me, the cops, they'll know you ain't the general, but they'll build the case that you are. Anybody saying that they're running this or they remember what you're saying. Remember the law. I think some people they've been out of prison too long, or they just never been there. And so for some views, for some clicks, they say the most outlandish stuff. And the crazy thing is, the dudes that do that, they do it on other people's platforms. And they make those guys money, and they're going to have to go and sit down. The one saying it, going to have to go sit down somewhere. Get entombed in some concrete and steel. Sit there for a while. And the guy they interviewed him, he'll find the next one. Believe me. They can't get enough of it. There's so many people out there that want that spotlight, that want that 15 minutes. One of the worst ones was Loose Cannon. Look at him now. Look at him now. I don't know what's right or wrong, but I know his stories didn't make sense to me most of the time. And now you got all these stories that are real foul coming out. And who knows if they're true or not? People say stuff, but the bottom line is he's sitting down because he chose to talk about street stuff on an open mic, on a camera. So I guess this isn't going to die out anytime soon. I don't know how many people need to be incarcerated for people to figure it out. But you know what? Just like gangbanging itself, everybody always thinks they're smarter than the guy that got busted right before them. I'm going to tell you something. Prison is full of those guys. I was one of them. I'm the fourth one in my family busted for murder. Hopefully I'm the last one. But I didn't learn from the other three in my family. Look at all these dudes gangbanging right now. You got some vatos that are over 100 years old, and people still think that they're going to get away with everything. And in the meantime, there's always a vacancy in the county jail. There's always a vacancy in the prison system, and there's always a vacancy on death row. So Gumby won't be the last one that's a street dude that jumps in front of a camera. Unlike most street dudes, though, supposedly Gumby's papered up. So the motivation is strange. When he went on No Jumper, he went on No Jumper as a spokesman for his community. Gumby's been to the joint. And in the joint, the people you always want to pay the most attention to are those that are identified as the mouthpiece. Because when it's wartime, they're the first ones. That's the main targets. Oh, that vato's a mouthpiece? Cool. You think the cops aren't going to look at you the same way? The cops are always at war with the streets. The streets ain't as active as they used to be. But the cops don't know that. They're fighting the same war. And even though sometimes they cheat, they usually always win. That's my video for the day, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.